Okay, so here's your first little video for Unit 1. It is about the South Carolina Landform Regions, and I'm going to go through this one pretty quickly. It's not a long one, and you will be fairly familiar with a lot of this just from if you have ever traveled across the state. We also looked at 3 different cities from 3 different landform regions here in our geography project last week. So you will recognize those differences that we saw between Greenville, Columbia, and Charleston. They are in 3 very distinctly different regions. So where is South Carolina? It is in North America, right here, this light blue state. Borders the Atlantic Ocean. We border Georgia and North Carolina. We do not actually touch Tennessee. That is a misconception that a lot of my students come to me and say we border Tennessee. We do not. Okay, so this is a map. You will be receiving a very similar map. Please notice which direction the map goes. The flat line right here goes on the top. The point right here goes at the bottom. All these little squiggly inlets and bays all go on the east coast. So we start up here in the mountains and we move down to the coast. Here we go. And next, Blue Ridge. Let's talk about the Blue Ridge Mountains. Blue Ridge Mountains is only 2% of our land mass. Okay, so you will see it right up here in this little darkened region. The Blue Ridge Mountain region is exactly what it says it is. It is the mountains. I'm not sure where these page numbers are from, so just ignore that because they are definitely not from your textbook. The Blue Ridge Mountains are part of the Appalachian Mountain Range. Many streams begin in the mountains. We mentioned in some of the classes yesterday about the lakes in South Carolina being man-made. And so that is where those natural rivers all begin. Okay. Oldest mountains in America, the Blue Ridge Mountains, they stretch. So Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, they all have the same regions. So these Blue Ridge Mountains stretch across that. Again, only 2% of the land. It is the smallest region. The highest mountain is Sassafras. People living in this area, they love hiking and camping. I mean, obviously that's a broad generalization, but overall, you live in the mountains. So an important man-made lake in this area was Lake Jocassee, and again, for hydroelectric power in there. So here's just some gorgeous pictures, panoramic views, beautiful wooded waterfalls. So, let me see. We do not need to know any cities there. There's a list of cities at the top of these slides. The Piedmont region. Okay. So, if you remember what a plateau is. It's like a table, right? So, this area right here, this giant green area, technically is a raised plateau, but it has hills on top. So, let me draw you an example. I'm going to attempt to draw this here. So, it goes up, and then it's got hills, and then it goes back down. That's my example of the Piedmont region. It has a monadnock. I always struggle saying that word, which means it is one isolated hill made of very hard rock, table rock. Okay. Some of the largest cities in South Carolina are there, and it is named the Foothills because it's at the foot of the mountains, and it is hilly. We also provide a lot of the beaches and textiles. You can actually go look at this webcam. I'll take you there for a second. You can go look at that on your own time. Sandhills, they are sandy and hilly. They actually used to be the coastline. So, guys, This used to be the coast. Right there, that red line. Obviously, it is not anymore, and we are talking millions and millions and millions of years ago, okay? You will learn about plate tectonics and shifting and all of that in science here later. Long ago, the coastline reached all the way to the middle of the state. That's why we find a lot of fossils. A lot of you in your geography projects talking about Columbia talked about the minerals. A lot of that is produced from the fossils and of that nature. Our state capital is there. The fall line. So the fall line is where all of these rivers, okay, so start to slope downward, okay. We built a lot of canals, again, talking about that human-environment interaction, building the rivers to how we need them. But it was a great idea for trade when cities were built along it, especially originally when we were establishing our state. Here is another slide with pictures. You can see the fall line where we've built the canals and the Saluda River. Okay, coastal plains. There are technically an inner and an outer coastal plain. They're the same. They have the same type of geography, okay? All right, this is the heart of the cotton, still today. Heart of the cotton. If you are driving from Greenville to the beach, whether that's Charleston, Beaufort, Hilton Head, you are going to go through Columbia and then down through, no matter how you're trying to get to the beach, you're going through Florence, Sumter, Orangeburg, any of these coastal plain cities, and you will see fields and fields of cotton, or you will see fields of wheat, lots of wheat, and soybeans. This is the best soil, and again, it's because it used to be under the ocean. All right, it's really fertile. It's kind of swampy. And then Congaree National Park is there. Over half of this region is covered by forest. Okay, so again, forest, cotton, swampy. We're going to get to that time where we are talking about, again, outer coastal plain. They're the same. They have the same type of land. You will only need to know them as the coastal plains. I have them separated here, but again, flat, lots of rivers, swampy. We'll talk about the swamp fox, okay? Canals, all right? So that was a big one. There's another canal. Swamps have alligators. All right, the coastal zone. Guys, this is the beach. There's a couple cities. They are islands. This would include, you know, all of the barrier islands and the beaches along the coast, tourism and fishing. I mean, obviously, we have what's called the Grand Strand, which is about 60 miles around Myrtle Beach. And it's wide, sandy beaches, okay? You will also start to see salt marshes. If you've been into some of these places, you have seen those saltwater marshes, okay? So, Edisto River is also down there. Here is pictures of the marshes, Grand Strand, okay? So we're gonna skip through this part, all right, but I do want to show you the city's map so you can kind of get an idea. Here's Greenville right up here. These are our rivers, all right? They all start here and flow towards the ocean. It's like Finding Nemo. All drains, all rivers lead to the ocean or a lake. They empty into an ocean or a lake. 6 regions, but we're counting 5. 6 regions, but we are counting 5. All right. And we are